The smirk on his face as we left the courthouse made my stomach turn. That self-satisfied grin that said he'd won even in losing. I wanted to slap it off his perfectly groomed face, but I didn't. I wouldn't give him the satisfaction. My name is Vivian, and after 15 years of marriage, I'm finally free of Maximilian. At least that's what the judge just declared with a bang of his gavel. The ink is barely dry on our divorce papers, but Max still manages to make my skin crawl from 20 feet away. I truly hope you find happiness, Viv, he calls out, voice dripping with false concern. You know I only ever wanted what was best for you. I don't respond. I've learned that silence is sometimes the sharpest weapon. Instead, I walk to my car, heels clicking against concrete, each step taking me further from the man who spent years convincing me I was crazy, paranoid, and worthless. The drive home to what is now legally my house feels surreal. The late afternoon sun catches my wedding ring as I grip the steering wheel. I pull over, slide it off my finger, and drop it into my purse. The indent it leaves behind looks like a scar. The house is eerily quiet when I arrive. Max moved out weeks ago, but his presence lingers like a bad smell. His rules echo in every room. Don't touch my office papers. Don't ask about the business accounts. Don't go into the attic, ever the attic. That last rule was the strangest, implemented just months after our wedding. There's black mold up there, sweetheart, he'd said. It's not safe. I'll handle anything that needs to be stored. I stand at the bottom of the stairs, staring up at the attic door. For 15 years I've obeyed that rule, even when I heard footsteps up there late at night, even when I noticed him sneaking up with manila envelopes and locked boxes. Screw it, I mutter, marching upstairs. The key is where it's always been, taped under the hallway windowsill. My hands shake as I unlock the door, half expecting alarms to blare or Max to materialize behind me. The stairs creak under my weight. There's no black mold, no danger, just darkness and dust, and something else. I pull the cord for the single bulb, and my breath catches. The attic is an archive, dozens of neatly labeled binders lining custom-built shelves. Filing cabinets stretch along one wall. A desk holds an old computer tower and external hard drives. What the hell? I grab the nearest binder. Inside, meticulously organized papers detail offshore accounts I've never seen. Another contains photos, intimate photos, of Max with people I know. My best friend Valerie appears in several, looking much closer to my husband than she should. My hands are trembling as I open a third binder. Property deeds, contracts, letters, names jump out at me. Sophia, my own sister. Teddy, Max's lawyer friend. People I trusted. A yellow envelope falls from between the pages. Inside, I find a document that makes my blood run cold. A deed to my grandparents' estate, complete with what appears to be my signature, except I never signed it, never even knew it existed. My phone buzzes, making me jump. A text from Max. Hope you're doing okay. Remember, if you need anything from the attic, just let me know. Wouldn't want you getting hurt up there. I stare at the message, then at the treasure trove of secrets surrounding me. 15 years of lies, all meticulously filed and hidden above my head. 15 years of being told I was paranoid while he orchestrated God knows what with people I considered family. The rage builds slowly, like ice forming in my veins. I've spent years trying to be the bigger person, the understanding wife, the forgiving sister, the loyal friend. But as I sit here surrounded by proof of their betrayal, something inside me shifts. I text back, "Don't worry about me, I'm fine." Then I reach for another binder and another. By sunrise, I'll know everything. And then I'll make them all wish they'd never underestimated me. The attic door stays open behind me like a mouth waiting to spill its secrets. I haven't slept. The sun is rising and I'm surrounded by 15 years of betrayal, spread across my dining room table in neat piles. My hands are dusty from the binders, and my eyes burn from reading countless documents in dim light. Jesus Christ, I whisper, staring at bank statements showing millions flowing through accounts I never knew existed. Some are labeled with familiar names. VZ Wellness Solutions catches my eye. Valerie's company, my supposed best friend's yoga studio, was laundering my husband's money. My phone rings. Speaking of the devil. Viv, are you okay? I've been trying to reach you since yesterday. Valerie's voice drips with concern. I'm fine, I say, staring at a photo of her and Max at what appears to be a private beach house. The timestamp shows it was taken during a week when she told me she was at a yoga retreat. Just processing everything. Let me take you to breakfast. You shouldn't be alone right now. I almost laugh. Actually, I need some time to think. Of course, sweetie. Just call me if you need anything. I hang up and plug in the old hard drive I found. While it boots up, I read through more documents. Teddy's name appears repeatedly, not just as Max's lawyer, but as a partner in several shell companies, and Sophia. My own sister's signature appears on documents she had no business signing. My laptop pings. The hard drive is ready. Inside, I find thousands of emails, photos, and voice recordings, all meticulously organized by date and person. Max always was obsessive about organization. It's what made him such a successful businessman. Now I see it made him an excellent criminal, too. I click on a folder labeled VZ, and my screen fills with intimate emails between Max and Valerie going back years. Their words make me physically ill. Just keep playing the supportive friend, Max wrote to her. She suspects nothing. You're doing perfectly. Valerie's response. Sometimes I feel guilty. She trusts me so much. The guilt will fade when you're running your own wellness empire, Max replied. Just stick to the plan. I grab my phone and text my cousin Devin, the only tech-savvy person I trust right now. Need your help with some encrypted files. Can you come over? Don't tell anyone. While waiting for his response, I open a folder labeled Sophia. Inside, I find recordings of phone conversations between my sister and Max. I press play on one from 3 years ago. The paperwork is ready, Max's voice says. Just forge her signature like we discussed. One signature and your gambling debts disappear. She's my sister, Max. Sophia sounds tearful. And you owe dangerous people money. Which is worse, betraying her trust or ending up dead in a ditch? My hands shake as I stop the recording. The property deed I found, my grandparents' estate, suddenly makes horrible sense. Devin texts back, be there in 30, bring in my laptop. I make coffee while waiting, my mind racing. Every conversation, every business dinner, every friendly gathering over the past 15 years takes on new meaning. How many times had they all sat around my dinner table laughing at my ignorance? The doorbell rings. Devin looks worried when I open the door. You look like hell, Viv. Wait till you see what I found. I lead him to my makeshift command center. His eyes widen at the spread of documents. Holy shit, he whispers, picking up a bank statement. Is this what I think it is? Money laundering, fraud, blackmail, and that's just what I found so far. There are encrypted files I can't access. Can you help? He cracks his knuckles and opens his laptop. Give me a few hours. Thanks. And Devin? Not a word to anyone, especially not Sophia. He nods, already typing. What are you going to do with all this? I pick up a photo of Max, Valerie, and Teddy at some private party I never knew about. They're all raising glasses, celebrating something. My ignorance, probably. I'm going to make them wish they'd never met me. The morning sun streams through my windows, illuminating the evidence of their betrayal, and for the first time since finding the attic, I smile. Got something? Devin says, his eyes glued to his laptop screen. It's been 3 days of constant digging and dark circles rim his eyes. These shell companies, they all trace back to a single account in the Caymans, and look who's listed as a beneficiary. He turns the screen toward me. The name makes my coffee go cold in my stomach. Zoe Myers. I know that name, I say, rifling through the photos I've organized. Here. I pull out a series of intimate pictures, Max with a younger woman at various hotels and restaurants. The same woman appears in banking documents, real estate contracts, and private emails. Think she'll talk? Devin asks. I'm already grabbing my keys, only one way to find out. Finding Zoe proves surprisingly easy. She works at an art gallery downtown, the same one that sold Max several overpriced pieces for his office. When I walk in, she recognizes me immediately. The color drains from her face. Mrs. Stevens, she says, then corrects herself. I mean, Vivian. We need to talk, Zoe. She glances at her co-worker. I'm taking my break, she announces, leading me to a small courtyard behind the gallery. Whatever Max told you about me, she begins. I know everything, I cut her off. The affairs, the money laundering through art sales, the offshore accounts in your name. What I don't know is why. Zoe's hands shake as she lights a cigarette. He said he'd make me partner in the gallery, said his wife, you, was unstable, that you were holding him back. God, I was so stupid. When did it end? 6 months ago. When I realized I wasn't special, I was just another piece in his game. She laughs bitterly. The gallery partnership never happened. Instead, I got threats when I tried to leave. He said he'd make sure I never worked in the art world again. My phone buzzes. A text from Devin. Voice memo decrypted. You need to hear this now. I have to go, I tell Zoe. But first, would you be willing to make a statement about everything? She takes a long drag of her cigarette. Will it hurt him? Absolutely. Then count me in. Back home, Devin plays the voice memo. My sister's voice fills the room thick with tears. I did what you asked, Max. The deed is signed, but this is the last time. I can't keep lying to her. Max's response is cold. You don't have a choice, Sophia. Or should I tell Vivian about the money you embezzled from your company, about the fake charity you set up? You're in this as deep as the rest of us. Jesus, Devin whispers, your own sister. I feel numb. Keep digging. I want everything. My phone rings. Valerie again. Her 7th call today. This time I answer. Viv, please, we need to talk. I heard you went to the gallery today. Did Max tell you that? I keep my voice neutral. No, I just, funny, because I haven't told anyone about visiting the gallery except Zoe. Silence on the other end. He's still having you watch me, isn't he? I ask. Even after the divorce? It's not what you think. Save it for the deposition. I hang up and turn to Devin. How long until you can crack the encrypted emails between Max and Teddy? A few more hours, but Viv? He hesitates. Are you sure you want to do this? These people, they're dangerous. I show him another document I found, proof that Max had been siphoning money from my grandparents' estate for years, long before he had Sophia forge my signature. They took everything from me, Devin, my marriage, my family, my trust, even my inheritance. Now I'm taking everything from them. My phone buzzes again, an email from Zoe. Found more documents in the gallery's safe. Meeting records, transaction logs, everything. When do you want them? I text back. Tomorrow, and Zoe? Thank you. Devin's laptop pings with another decrypted file. As we lean in to read it, I feel something I haven't felt in years. Power. They thought they were so clever, hiding their secrets in my attic. Now those same secrets will be their undoing. I'm so glad you're ready to reconnect, Valerie says. hugging me as she enters my dining room. We've all been so worried. I return her embrace, noting how she stiffens slightly when I hold on a moment too long. Behind her, Sophia and Teddy arrive with wine bottles and forced smiles. "Family dinner," I announce, gesturing to the perfectly set table. "Just like old times." The irony of the word family isn't lost on any of us. They take their seats. Valerie beside me, Sophia across, Teddy at the end where Max used to sit. The empty chair at the other end feels like an accusation. "Beautiful spread," Teddy comments, eyeing the roast I prepared, "though I'm surprised you invited me, given the circumstances." I pour the wine, remembering how many dinners we've shared here, how many lies were served alongside the food. Why wouldn't I invite my favorite brother-in-law? Ex-brother-in-law, I mean. Sophia shifts uncomfortably. "Viv, about everything." "Let's not talk about unpleasant things," I interrupt, raising my glass, "to new beginnings and old secrets." They all drink quickly, too quickly. "Speaking of secrets," I continue, serving the food, "did you know there's no black mold in the attic? Never was." Valerie's fork clatters against her plate. Teddy coughs into his wine. "The funny thing about attics," I say, cutting my meat with precise strokes, "is how much they can hold. Files, photos, recordings." "Vivienne," Teddy starts, his lawyer voice taking over, "if Max left any sensitive documents—" "Sensitive?" I laugh. "Is that what we're calling fraud these days? Or is there a fancier legal term for helping your friend embezzle millions?" The room goes silent. Sophia stares at her plate while Valerie's face has lost all color. "I don't know what Max told you," Valerie begins, "but—" "How was the beach house in Bermuda?" I asked casually. "The one where you and Max celebrated after setting up the fake wellness company? You look gorgeous in blue bikinis, by the way." She drops her fork. "I can explain—" "And Sophia," I turn to my sister, who looks ready to vomit. "Remember when you called Max crying about the forged deed, about how guilty you felt? That was really touching, almost as touching as the $50,000 he paid you." "I had debts," Sophia whispers. "He said he would help by stealing our grandparents' estate." My voice remains eerily calm. "That kind of help." Teddy stands abruptly. "This conversation needs to end now. Anything you think you found—" "Sit down, Teddy," I say softly. "Or should we discuss the offshore accounts, the art fraud, the evidence you helped Max hide from the federal investigation?" He sinks back into his chair, lawyer façade cracking. "Here's what's going to happen," I continue, taking another bite of roast. "Tomorrow you're each going to receive emails with meeting times. You'll sit down with my lawyers and tell them everything, every transaction, every lie, every scheme." "And if we don't?" Teddy challenges. I pull out my phone, click a few buttons. Their phones buzz simultaneously. "Check your emails," I say. "That's just a sample of what I found. The rest goes to the FBI, the IRS, and every news outlet in the state if any of you refuse to cooperate." Valerie starts crying. Sophia looks like she might faint. Teddy's reading his email with shaking hands. "You can't prove—" he starts. "I have 15 years of proof sitting in my attic. Would you like to see it?" Max was very thorough with his record keeping. They leave shortly after, dinner barely touched. As the door closes behind them, I hear Sophia burst into tears on my porch. She knocks 10 minutes later, mascara streaking her face. "Please," she begs through the door, "let me explain. I'm your sister." I stand on the other side, hand on the lock, remembering birthday parties, shared secrets, years of sisterhood. Then I remember her voice on the recording, agreeing to forge my signature. "Not any more," I whisper, too quietly for her to hear. I leave her crying on the porch and return to the dining room. 4 half-empty wine glasses sit on the table like abandoned confessions. I pull out my phone and text Devin. It's done. Start uploading the files. Tonight they'll all lay awake, wondering which of their secrets I know. The answer, of course, is all of them. The letter slides under my door at dawn. Sophia's handwriting, shaky but familiar. I know you'll never forgive me, but you deserve the truth. Max knew about my gambling debts. He promised to handle everything if I helped him with the estate transfer. Said it was just a temporary arrangement that you'd never know. By the time I realized what he'd really done, he owned me. I'm so sorry, Viv. I've attached copies of everything he made me sign. I add her confession to my growing arsenal and call Gavin, the forensic accountant Devin recommended. These numbers don't make sense, Gavin says an hour later, spreading documents across my kitchen counter. The money trail through Valerie's wellness center, it's too obvious. Almost like what? Like he wanted it to be found, eventually. Gavin runs a hand through his disheveled hair. Have you considered that Max might have planned for this? Before I can respond, someone pounds on my front door. Valerie bursts in before I can stop her. You think you know everything? She's practically screaming. You don't know anything. Gavin discreetly slides the documents into a folder while I face my former best friend. Then enlighten me, I say coldly. Explain the photos, the bank transfers, the emails. He blackmailed me. Tears streak her makeup. He found out about the prescription fraud at my wellness center, said he'd turn me in unless I played along. The photos, the company accounts, it was all his idea. And sleeping with my husband, was that his idea too? She flinches. I never meant. Get out. Viv, please, out! After she leaves, Gavin clears his throat. She's lying about the blackmail. Look at these transfer dates. She was involved long before her wellness center even opened. My phone buzzes. A text from an unknown number. It's Teddy. Meeting in 20 minutes. Parking garage at Jefferson and 5th. Come alone. Important information about Max. It's a trap, Gavin warns when I show him. Obviously, but I'm going anyway. The parking garage is nearly empty when I arrive. Teddy paces near his BMW looking nervous. Make it quick, I say, staying near my car. Max knows you found everything. He's been tipped off about a federal investigation. By you? He ignores that. Listen, we can make a deal. The feds don't have anything concrete yet. If you hand over the evidence now, we can protect you. I laugh. Protect me? Like you protected me when Max stole my inheritance? That money is gone, Vivian, overseas, untraceable, but we can offer you nothing I want. I pull out my phone, play the recording of him and Max discussing evidence tampering. Still want to negotiate? His face darkens. You're making a mistake. Max has contingency plans, people you don't know about, things could get dangerous. Is that a threat, Teddy? A warning from someone who's seen what he does to enemies. I step closer, voice low. Tell Max I said thanks for the warning and that he should check his email. The first batch of documents just went to the FBI's Financial Crimes Unit. Back home, Gavin has more news. Found something weird? These offshore accounts? They're being monitored by another federal agency. Max isn't just under investigation. He's been under surveillance for months. My phone rings. Zoe. Someone broke into the gallery last night, she says without preamble. The safe was targeted, but they didn't find anything. I moved those documents like you said. Are you okay? Fine. But Vivian? Be careful. I heard Max making calls yesterday. He sounded desperate. After hanging up, I noticed an envelope that wasn't there before slipped under my door while I was out. Inside is a single photo, me, entering the attic that first night after the divorce. The back has a message in Max's handwriting. Did you really think I didn't know you'd look? Game on, sweetheart. I show Gavin the photo. He whistles low. What now? I grab my keys. Now we move faster. Call Devon. Tell him to release everything tonight. All of it. But the feds. We'll have to catch up. I'm done playing by the rules. The photo burns in my hand. Max thinks this is a game. Fine. Let's play. The conference room at Teddy's law firm feels like a trap. Max sits at one end of the long table, impeccably dressed as always, that infuriating smirk still on his face. Teddy stands behind him, shuffling papers nervously. Vivian, Max says warmly, as if we're meeting for dinner rather than a legal showdown. You're looking tired, sweetheart. Not sleeping well? I don't respond. Instead, I take my seat and wait for my companions to join me. The door opens and Max's smirk falters as Zoe walks in, followed by Gavin. What is this? Teddy demands. This meeting was supposed to be private. Like the private meetings you had about hiding evidence? I ask, opening my laptop. The ones you recorded and stored so carefully in the attic? Max's smile tightens. Whatever you think you found. June 15th, 2:14 p.m., I read from the screen. Quote, Teddy, move everything offshore now. If Vivian ever finds these accounts, we're both finished. Would you like to hear the rest? Those recordings are inadmissible, Teddy interjects. Illegally obtained? Actually, Gavin speaks up, as the house owner and legal resident, Vivian had every right to access materials stored in her attic, especially after the divorce settlement granted her full property rights. Max leans forward. Let's cut to the chase. What do you want? Want? I laugh. I want nothing from you. I'm here to tell you what's going to happen. I nod to Zoe, who places a thick folder on the table. Complete records of every art transaction used to launder money through my gallery, she says, including dates, amounts, and offshore account numbers. Max's face goes pale. You ungrateful little... And here, Gavin adds, sliding over his own file, are the forensic accounting reports showing exactly how money moved through shell companies, including Valerie's Wellness Center and Sophia's fake charity. Teddy grabs the files, flipping through them frantically. These prove nothing without context. The context is in the emails you thought you'd deleted, I cut in. The ones where you discuss how to hide everything from federal investigators. Would you like me to play the audio files too? Max stands abruptly. Enough. You think you can threaten me? I built everything you had. Without me, you're nothing. Without you, I'm free. I open another file on my laptop. And in about 30 seconds, every document I have goes public. Unless what? Max's voice shakes slightly. You sign these. I slide over a stack of papers. Full confession. Return of all stolen assets. Public admission of fraud. You're insane, he sputters. I'll destroy you. Check your phone, I say calmly. They both do. Their faces drain of color as they see the news alert. Major financial fraud investigation launched. Prominent business figure named. That's just the beginning, I tell them. Sign now or everything goes public. Every photo, every email, every recording, including the ones with your other lovers, Max. All genders, all ages. What would your conservative business partners think? Teddy whispers something in Max's ear. Max shakes his head violently. 10 seconds, I announce. 9, 8. Wait! Max grabs the papers. Just wait. His hand shakes as he signs. Teddy looks like he might vomit. Smart choice, I say, gathering the signed documents. The FBI will be in touch soon. Oh, and Max? I pause at the door. Check the attic at your new place. You might want to clean it out before they do. In the hallway, Zoe touches my arm. That was incredible. It's not over, I reply, checking my phone. Devin says the full data dump goes live at midnight. By morning, everyone will know everything. What about Valerie and Sophia? I think of my sister's tears, of Valerie's betrayal. They made their choices. As we leave the building, my phone buzzes with a text from Max. You'll regret this, I promise. I show it to Gavin, who's been quietly documenting everything. He takes a photo of the threat. More evidence, he says. Want me to send it to the FBI agent? I nod, watching the sun set over the city. By tomorrow, Max's carefully constructed world will be ashes. And from those ashes, I'll rise, stronger, wiser, and finally, completely free. Let's get a drink, I tell them. We have 2 hours until midnight, and I want to watch his empire burn with a good glass of wine. The courtroom falls silent as Max takes the stand. 3 weeks have passed since the documents went public, and he looks nothing like the polished businessman who once controlled my life. His expensive suit hangs loose, his face gaunt from sleepless nights. Mr. Stevens, the prosecutor begins, please explain these transfers to accounts in the Cayman Islands. Those were legitimate business transactions, Max replies, but his voice wavers. Legitimate? The prosecutor holds up a document, like this email where you instructed Mr. Johnston to, quote, bury the money so deep even God couldn't find it. Teddy shifts uncomfortably in his seat. He's already agreed to testify against Max in exchange for a lighter sentence. That was taken out of context, Max stammers. Then let's add context. The prosecutor clicks a remote and Max's voice fills the courtroom from a recording. If Vivian ever finds these accounts, we're finished. Make sure everything looks clean on paper. I watch from my seat as Max's eyes dart around the courtroom, finally landing on me. I hold his gaze steadily. Would you like to revise your statement? The prosecutor asks. Max's composure cracks. You don't understand. The pressure to maintain appearances, to keep the business growing, I had to do whatever it took. Including stealing from your wife's inheritance? I was protecting her, Max shouts, mask finally slipping. She couldn't handle the responsibility. None of them could. I built everything. The judge leans forward. Mr. Stevens, control yourself. But Max is unraveling. You think you've won? He turns to face me directly. Tell them about Sophia's gambling debts, about Valerie's illegal prescriptions, about how they all begged me for help. Your Honor, his lawyer interrupts, we request a brief recess. Denied, the judge says sharply. Continue, counselor. The prosecutor produces more documents. Let's discuss the art gallery scheme. Zoe, sitting beside me, tenses as her name comes up, but we're prepared for this. Ms. Myers has already provided her testimony, the prosecutor continues, along with comprehensive documentation of how you used overvalued art sales to launder money. She's lying, Max snarls. They're all lying. The numbers don't lie, Mr. Stevens. Gavin speaks up from the witness stand where he's been waiting. As a forensic accountant, I can demonstrate exactly how each transaction was manipulated. For the next hour, Gavin methodically dismantles Max's financial empire, transaction by transaction. The jury takes notes. Max seems to physically shrink. During a brief recess, Valerie approaches me in the hallway. Viv, please, she whispers. I've lost everything. My business, my reputation. You lost those things when you chose to help him, I reply. The truth just made it public. Back in session, Max's lawyer attempts damage control, but the evidence is overwhelming. 15 years of meticulous record keeping, all turned against its creator. Your Honor, the prosecutor announces, the state would like to enter one final piece of evidence. She plays another recording, the one of Max threatening Teddy after I confronted them in the law office, the one where he explicitly admits to the fraud and threatens retaliation. Max lunges to his feet. This is a setup. She planned this. She went into my attic deliberately. The attic in her house, Mr. Stevens, the judge interrupts, where you illegally stored evidence of your crimes. The gavel comes down hard. I've heard enough. This court finds sufficient evidence to proceed with all charges. Bailiff, take the defendant into custody. As they lead Max away, he locks eyes with me one last time. The smirk is gone, replaced by something darker. But I don't look away. I watch until he disappears through the side door. Outside the courthouse, reporters swarm us. Mrs. Stevens, how does it feel to expose one of the biggest financial fraud cases of the year? I think about the attic, about 15 years of lies, about all the people who helped him keep me in the dark. The truth always comes to light, I say simply, no matter how deep you bury it. My phone buzzes, a text from Sophia. Please call me, I'm begging you. I delete it without responding and walk down the courthouse steps into the bright afternoon sun. Behind me, I can hear the reporters shouting more questions, but I don't turn back. Some stories don't need more words. Sometimes justice speaks for itself. The last box from the attic sits on my back patio next to a metal fire pit. Inside are the final remnants of my old life, photos, cards, the fake evidence of happiness Max crafted so carefully. My phone rings on the prison's number. I let it go to voicemail like I have every day this week. Max's messages have evolved from threats to pleas, each one more desperate than the last. Still burning things? Zoe asks, walking through the gate with 2 cups of coffee. She's become an unexpected friend in all this. Last box, I say, taking a cup. Want to help? We start feeding items to the flames. A Christmas card signed by Valerie and her husband, a photo of Sophia and me as children, documents I've already scanned and secured. Heard from your sister? Zoe asks. She sends letters. I return them unopened. And Valerie? Last I heard, she's moved to Arizona, started over. I toss another handful of papers into the fire. Good for her. Zoe picks up a leather-bound journal. What's this? No idea. Never seen it before. I take it from her, flip it open. The handwriting stops my heart, my grandmother's. Dear Vivian, it begins. If you're reading this, then you finally looked in the attic. I always knew you would, eventually. You're stronger than Max ever gave you credit for. My hands shake. She knew. Your grandmother? I keep reading aloud. I've watched him manipulate you, isolate you, make you doubt yourself. I wanted to tell you everything before I died, but you weren't ready to hear it. So I left this journal where I knew he'd hide it, in his precious attic, with all his other secrets. Zoe moves closer as I turn the pages. The journal details everything, how my grandmother noticed Max's schemes, how she secretly documented his early frauds, how she tried to warn me in subtle ways I was too blind to see. The estate he stole? I read on. It was never about the money. The real value was in the evidence I kept in the old garden shed. Proof of his first frauds, his original partners, everything. He needed it gone before you ever found it. Is the shed still there? Zoe asks. Yes, I never cleared it out. I stand up. Want to take a drive? The old estate sits empty now, tied up in legal proceedings. The garden shed looks ready to collapse, but the padlock holds firm. I remember the combination, my grandmother's birthday. Inside, behind rusted tools and dusty gardening supplies, we find a false panel. Within it, a USB drive and a final note. This is your inheritance, dear girl. Not money or property, but truth. Use it wisely. And remember, you were never weak. You were just waiting for the right moment to be strong. Love, Grandma. Back home, I plug in the drive. More evidence, older schemes, names we never knew about. Enough to unravel what remains of Max's old network. What are you going to do? Zoe asks. My phone buzzes again. This time it's Teddy's lawyer. Client willing to reveal more names in exchange for consideration. Another text follows from Gavin. FBI wants to meet. They're investigating 3 more companies connected to Max. I look at my grandmother's journal, then at the ashes of my past smoldering in the fire pit. The sun is setting, painting the sky in fierce oranges and reds. I'm going to finish what she started, I tell Zoe. All of it. It'll never really be over, you know, she says softly. No, I agree, but I'm not hiding any more, and neither are they. I text both Teddy's lawyer and Gavin. Meeting tomorrow. Bring everyone. Then I take my grandmother's journal inside, leaving the fire to consume the last box of lies. In my study, I open a new document and begin to type, My name is Vivian, and this is the truth about what happened. The words flow easily now. No more secrets, no more fear, just the story that needs to be told, starting with a woman who looked in an attic and found not just evidence, but herself. Behind me, the last light of day fills the room with amber warmth. Tomorrow will bring new battles, new revelations, new strength. But tonight, I write,